Hi guys, Dvdmike. I'm actually back. I'm going to try and make this regular. I know I say that all the time. This isn't going to be a update this time though. This is a special, something I wanted to do on my channel for a very long time and never actually got around to doing. So, for once I'm actually going to go ahead with what I've said, and I'm actually going to do my top 20 films of 2012. A few rules to this. Basically, this is an English list. I'm English, so if it didn't come out in England in 2012, it doesn't count. The last film on here that came out was from Boxing Day last year, sorry. So basically, that counts as 2012. Anything that came out in 2012 in America, like Django Unchained, doesn't count. It's a 2013 film because it came out in 2013 in the UK, so therefore it won't be on this list. Next year's list, more than likely. So, basically, this is what I'm going to do. Going to run through the 20, and, well, yeah, just going to run through the 20 from 20 to 1. And yeah, hope everyone enjoys and sort of agrees with me. If you don't, that's great. Everyone has their own opinion. Put it in the comment if you think I'm wrong on something or you think I'm right on something. If I've got the order wrong, what you do, post a video reply on what your top 20 was and how it's different to mine. So basically we're going to start off. I've got all of these bar 4 on Blu-ray. A couple of them are out on Blu-ray, but I don't actually own yet, which I really must sort out. I'm going to have a look actually when I finish this video and see how much they are and try and complete my set. So, for number 20 we have Jack Reacher. Came out on Boxing Day. This is the Boxing Day movie. This is the adaptation of Lee Child's one-shot starring Jack Reacher. Now, I've never read the book, and I'm a bit of a Tom Cruise fan. Not a fanboy, but I do like his work. I don't think he's made a film that I've actually hated as of yet. So, basically, all the problems that people have with, oh, he's too short to play Jack Reacher, oh, he's a Scientologist, whatever. It's a great action film. It's a throwback to 70s stuff. Chris McQuarrie, who directed it, is a badass director. If you haven't seen it, go watch Where the Gun. It's really, really, really good fun. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's kind of like The French Connection if The French Connection was filmed with, like, bone-crunching violence. I saw the UK version, which was rated 12A. It is cut in the UK for cinema release. The UK Blu-ray is uncut. The American Blu-ray is obviously uncut. I think the Blu-ray is out in end of April, beginning of June. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure it's around then. But I will be picking it up. Don't own it yet because it's not out yet. And I don't mind waiting for the UK one because it's probably going to be cheaper than importing the US one for once. I haven't got much to talk about it because I haven't got the film. But really, really good. If you like badass action movies, give it a try. It's got some amazing, amazing lines. The ambulance line, for one, is absolutely fantastic and well worth watching for the entire film for, I'd say. It's really, really cool. But yeah, apart from that, it's a really good sort of badass 70s action film made today with kind of 70s production values. There's a great car chase in it with no CGI. It's really cool. Well worth watching. Especially a fan of things like Shooter, stuff like that. Shooter's very unfairly maligned. I think it's quite a decent film. Yeah, it's a good film. If you haven't seen it, if you're not watching it because you don't like Tom Cruise or you think that he wasn't the right Jack Reacher, I'd get over that and watch it. It's worth a try. Next, I actually do have the Blu-ray for this. We have Cameron Crowe's return, We Bought a Zoo. I'm so glad that Cameron Crowe finally came back to directing movies. I thought he wouldn't return. Vanilla Sky got really, really slated. It really didn't need to. This is fantastic. It's heartwarming, heart-wrenching. It's really well made. It's got, well, obviously, a fantastic soundtrack. And also the score done by, is it John C? From Sugar Ross? I can't remember the name. It's not going to show up for me. This always happens when I look for stuff and I don't. Yeah, John C, yeah, when I don't research. This is a rental copy from my now dear departed job at Blockbuster. It's got all the extras, but it doesn't list all the extras on the back, so I can't go through all the extras on there. It's a heartwarming tale of, well, it's a true story of this British family who bought a zoo. They relocated to America, cast Matt Damon. It's kind of a basic love story about a man who loses his wife and then comes to terms with the attractions of another woman, played by Scarlett Johansson. Not a big fan of Scarlett Johansson. I think she's alright. I don't think she's an amazing actress. I know a lot of people just watch her for, what they watch her for. But I know there needs to be more for me. There's nothing there, really. She's good looking, I suppose, but I don't know. She just hasn't done anything that really blew my skirt up. There's nothing that I thought, wow, she's an amazing actress. I really must pay attention to her. But yeah, it's kind of cool. But We Bought a Zoo is fantastic. It's heartwarming. If you cry at movies ever, you probably will shed a tear at the end of this. It is really, really good. And the kids are really well cast in it. He's got a young boy and a young girl. And the sort of growing pains of being a single dad with that as well. It's kind of heartwarming, but not schmaltzy. But it is really, really well made and well worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Next we go on to, I think, the only out-and-out comedy on this list. I'm not a big comedy person. Comedy normally is tit jokes, fart jokes, and people, falling down, or, gross out stuff. And gross out stuff and torture porn, not really for me. I mean, it's not very sophisticated. It's not very clever. I'd rather have something where, it's well written. And this came into view, 21 Jump Street. Was never a fan of Charming Potato, Channing Tatum, before this film. Always thought he had no charisma. He was just a weirdly unpretty face, but I know a lot of women find him really, really stupidly attractive, but I just don't see what it is. I can tell when a guy's really attractive, but I know he's just kind of bland looking. He's featureless. He's like a charming potato. He's like a Mr. Potato Man. He looks like you've just stuck some features higgledy-piggledy on his face. It's the abs, I think. I think it's just the shallow thing of the abs. This is a good little disc by Sony. It's got a ton of extras. Got commentaries, deleted scenes, like a making of someone on set, which is a spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, there's a cameo. If you know anything about the original show 21 Jump Street with Richard Grieco and Johnny Depp, it's better if you know something about it, but I don't think any single person in the cinema knew anything about Johnny Depp being in it. I think I talked about this when I actually put this disc on an update. But yeah, it's funny, it's charming. Jonah Hill is really good in it, as he normally is. I don't know, I think it's clever, it's well written, it's got a story behind it, as opposed to just a lot of gross out moments where someone gets splattered with shit or something. It's a lot better written and a lot better made. There's a lot more care involved in it. I hear talk of a sequel or something like that. Leave it alone, do something else, do something different. Have the same people in it, but do something different. But mind you, having the same people in it doesn't work for Will Ferrell and that gang, does it? Because, let's face it, yeah, his films have been very bad for a very long time. Mind you, I have this theory that comedy sequels don't work. Name any comedy sequel that does work, apart from Airplane 2, Wayne's World 2, and I can't think of another one. There are so few comedy sequels that actually work. Naked Gun 2, I suppose. And 33 1/3 is a bit... But yeah, they don't work. Comedy sequels, as a whole, are absolute crap and don't work. I don't know why. I think they just try and repeat the success of the original. Look at The Hangover 2. It's the exact same film, but in a different location. That's just not good enough. The first one was gross out, but sophisticated enough to be funny. And I think that trying to repeat that without being sophisticated doesn't work. I'm saying sophisticated a lot in this. Yeah, on to the next one. We have... I suppose technically this would be an out-and-out comedy, in a way. I suppose it wouldn't be anything else. We have The Muppets. Absolutely fantastic, really heartwarming, really funny. Saw this with ages ranging as a family day out between, I think it was 4 and someone in his 80s, 70s. So it was a whole gamut of people and a whole range of ages, and every single person came out of there loving this film. Jason Segel is the perfect person for this. The same with Amy Adams. Obviously, Amy Adams, everyone knows my love of Amy Adams. But I think, again, comedy sequels, Ricky Gervais will not be able to pull it off. As much as I like Tina Fey, it's not going to work. Ricky Gervais is the wrong person for a Muppets film. He can't do heartwarming, he can't do honest, he can't do sincere. I've never seen it anywhere. Jason Segel can pull off sincere, and Amy Adams is sincere times a billion. But that's what you need in these kids' films. You need the kids to believe it. You need the people to believe that you are with the Muppets. I know that Ricky Gervais has been on the Muppets, but I don't think it works. And this is turning into a rant against Ricky Gervais instead of talking about the Muppets. Really funny, really well made. I think, was it Nick Stoller? Oh, James Boban, who directed it, did a great job of balancing the adult humour and the kid humour, and it just worked really well. I think that the time and effort put into it paid dividends, because you could have been cynical about it and you could have sort of given a knowing wink and sort of like, this is a bit cheesy, but they didn't. They pulled it off. They actually put their heart into it and pulled it off. And I think that the songs by was Flight Concord's guy, wasn't it? Can't remember. Oh, God, I can't remember either of their names now. Brett McKenzie deserved the Oscars because they were fantastic. They were well written, and they were from the heart, and they were really well put together. And I think that's what you need. As long as Brett does the songs for the sequel, I'll go and see it. But again, comedy sequels, I don't think they work that amazingly well. Next on the list, talking of films that didn't work particularly well, even though I'd disagree with that. I've talked about this great length on the individual update video, so if you want to know the full in-depth about what I feel about this film, go and see that. We have John Carter by Andrew Stanton. I see that he's now doing Finding Nemo 2, Finding Dory. Smells of Hangover 2 to me, that. Same plot in different place. Yeah. I love this film. I think it's fantastic. I think it's unfairly maligned. I came out of it the same way I felt when I first saw Star Wars. I think it's fantastic. I think it's well worth picking up for anyone. I would heartily recommend it. If you like light-hearted fun and you've got a carefree attitude in your mind and you want to be swept away to a different world, see John Carter. It's not as bad as people said it was. I don't know why people said it was bad, because no one went to fucking see it. So if you haven't seen it and you're saying, oh, it's a flop, John Carter was crap, you have no business talking about it. Now, I've done this a few times, and I used to do this at work all the time. When I see a review of something and on Rotten Tomatoes it would be like 4% like Jack and Jill, I'd say, people go, what's Jack and Jill like? I said, well, the reviews are fucking terrible on it. Well, have you seen it? Well, no, but the reviews make me not want to see it. But John Carter wasn't that badly reviewed. That's what I didn't get. People saying, oh, the reviews were crap on it, no one went to see it. The reviews weren't that bad. They were 3s and 4s from what I saw. I saw very few that were like slating reviews. Same with Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas, I haven't seen yet. It's not on this list. Came out in 2013. It won't be counted. But the reviews were really good. And everyone kept coming and saying, oh, but it's flopped. It's absolute shit. Have you fucking seen it? It flopped because no one wants to see an existential blockbuster. That's not what people want to see. People want to see big tits and fucking abs and then explosions and shit covered everywhere. That's what they want to see. People want to see Adam fucking Sandler in drag. That's what they want to see. They don't want to see fucking decent, well-made films. And I'm ranting. This video's going to go on for fucking ever. Anyway, on to number 15. This is a film I don't have. It's Clint Eastwood in Trouble with a Curve. This was Clint Eastwood coming back to acting when he said he was never going to come back to acting. Okay, Clint. He gave his, I believe it was his producer or segment cinematographer, a chance to direct this film. And he came back to give him a hand, basically, which is fantastic. I mean, he takes care of his own. That's obviously a mark of a good person, I suppose. Only watch this for Amy Adams, obviously. And she is fantastic in it. Also fantastic is Justin Timberlake. People who write him off are just foolish. He's never turned in a bad acting performance, I don't think. I haven't seen Bad Teacher. But the stuff he's in, like The Social Network, Trouble with a Curve. I can't remember what the other one was now. That was really good. But anyway, he is a really good, underrated actor. He needs to learn his craft a bit more, I suppose. But he has a lot of natural charisma, and that's very hard to find nowadays. You have a lot of people that, these identical people that don't really have any charisma. They just look pretty, and that's all they need. Look at Taylor Kitsch is a good example. He had such a bad 2012 with Savages, John Carter, and Battleship flopping. Now, Battleship was absolute trash, but the other two were pretty damn good. But I don't think he's got the charisma to pull off a leading man role. I think he's very pretty, but I don't think he's got the charisma that someone like Timberlake has. And I think that's what makes the difference on these things. You need to have the charisma behind you to be able to pull this off. But I don't know, it's a good film about reconnection, about fathers and daughters, and when your father's so distant, you know, Why was he distant? Was he distant because of a reason, or was he distant because he was just an asshole? It's a good film, a heartwarming, heart-touching film, but very, very well written. It reminded me of another baseball film from last year, Moneyball, which was absolutely fantastic. That was mostly due to the Aaron Sorkin script, which is just phenomenal. Script writing for me at the moment is just the main thing. If it has a decently written script, I can forgive almost anything. But a fantastic, fantastic movie. Not on Blu-ray yet, that's why I don't own it. There's no Blu-ray really scheduled for the UK for some reason. Fucking annoying. And the American Blu-ray is really, really expensive for some reason. So I'm going to have to try and track down a cheap copy and pick that up because it was really fantastic. Next we have a film which I explicitly don't own. It's been out for ages. I was going to buy it, and then all our versions got recalled because there was a fault on the disc. There was a fault between the two-layer version. The rental version we had was a single layer, but it only had Dolby Digital Audio instead of DTS HD audio. So no HD audio on it. Bit of a pain in the arse. So I waited and waited and waited, and then never bought it for some reason. We have Cabin in the Woods. Amazing film. This was, I think 2013 was easily the year of Joss Whedon. He only wrote, obviously, Cabin in the Woods, as opposed to Avengers, which he wrote and directed. I've been singing his praises for absolutely years. I think he's a fantastic writer, fantastic director, underrated director. If you look at Serenity, it was one of the best sci-fi films ever made. But people didn't care. People wanted names, and they wanted, something to go see apart from just a TV show that no one really watched, apart from the Browncoats and a few people up at 4 a.m. in the morning when it was just on randomly out of sequence. It turned everything on its head. Everyone will know I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. I'll just say now I'm looking forward to the remake. I have tickets already to see it. I don't look at it as a remake. Due to what they're saying about Army of the Darkness 2, they want to bring the two universes together. Now that's absolutely fantastic because that means Bruce Campbell, and that means absolutely amazing patronage from me to go to the cinema and see it a billion times, just so Sam Raimi can keep making them and start making fucking Oz movies or whatever the fuck he's doing now. But yeah, it just turned that whole thing on its head of there's a cabin in the woods and you're going to die and blah, 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 blah. It was a story everyone's heard about a billion trillion times, but it doesn't matter because they did something new. It's one of the smartest scripts I've ever read. And it's worth noting that also that the less you know about that film, the better it is. People used to come in and say, what's it like? I said, well, is it a horror film? Well, kind of, but not. Oh, it's not a horror film. Oh, I only watch horror films. I'll just rent fucking whatever they fucking rent in Grave Encounters. It's like, well, no, it's kind of a horror film, but it's not an art horror film. It's kind of deconstructing horror films, and at the same time doing its own thing that's new. It also has a lot of the Whedonverse cast in it. Amy Acker's in it, which is fantastic. She needs more work. And Much Ado About Nothing will hopefully change that for the better. I mean, this could be a year of Whedon too, because of Much Ado About Nothing. Fingers crossed people see that. But yeah, fantastic film. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil too much. Also the year of Chris Hemsworth. This was obviously filmed in 2009, Cabin in the Woods. MGM went bust, so they couldn't release it, along with Red Dawn, another Chris Hemsworth film. So it was meant to be a ramp. He meant to have seen Red Dawn, then Cabin in the Woods, then Thor, then Avengers, and it meant to build his career. They kind of built it backwards, and the worst film, Red Dawn, came out last. Makes him seem like he's made bad choices and he's going to be Thor forever. I don't think he should be. I think he's a great actor and I think he deserves more recognition for what he does. And hopefully he'll do more stuff that isn't just Thor. Obviously Thor 2 Dark World will be out this year, so he'll be Thor for a little while, I think. Next we have, talking of horror films, the best horror film I've seen in about 10 years maybe. I don't like modern horror films. I think they're crap. I think it's all gore porn and there's no tension. So Sinister came along and really shot the shit out of me because I went to see it on a double bill. Well, it wasn't an official double bill. I saw two films back to back with the Resident Evil, whatever the fuck the new one was, and I was really, really not let down from the Resident Evil because I knew it was shit anyway. I know, just kind of nonplussed with Resident Evil, and then saw this and was like, fucking hell. It was the first film that really creeped me the fuck out. I mean, that's the best way I can say anything about it. It's not really a case of scary. I mean, it wasn't a case of excuse me. It wasn't a case of I jumped and I was like, oh my god, and I was shaking when it came out. It's more the fact that it unnerved me. It really unnerved me, really, really well. It's a well-made, very cheap film. I think it cost $7 million. It made God knows how many millions. I mean, that's what you want to do nowadays. You want to make a cheap film and make a shitload of money on the back of it. Now, another film in this list had that idea, but didn't make the money, unfortunately, because people are fucking idiots and watch fucking Jack and Jill and shit like that. But anyway, I digress. It was directed by Scott Derrickson and written by... Where is his real name? Oh, I can't see his bloody real name now. C. Robert Cargill, who's... I think he's Moriarty on Ain't It Cool News. So if you're a follower of Ain't It Cool News, obviously you'll know that he actually made a film. Instead of just talking about films, he actually wrote a film, and it was fucking awesome. I know they're doing a sequel, but they're not going to be involved that much. I think they're writing the script, but not directing. It's kind of a bad idea. I think you should leave it alone. I mean, they're doing Insidious 2 as well. I just think people starve of these horror films and they watch Paranormal Activity 97 or whatever else. Excuse me. I really always start yawning when I do these, don't I? But yeah, it's fantastic. It's well worth watching. If you like horror films, definitely watch it. The sequel, I don't know about. It depends who's in it and what the plot is and what the trailer's like. Because the trailer on that scared the shit out of me. Just the trailer alone, watching it like 3 a.m. It's like, nah, fuck this. And watched it and was like, okay, it's not exactly scary, but it's creepy as shit. Fucking great movie. Next we have a film that was very divisive amongst my viewership. We have The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I'm a huge Mark Webb fan, mainly because of 500 Days of Summer. I think it's absolutely fantastic. My love of Zooey Deschanel, yeah, fair enough. But it was a great film. It was well written and well made. And this, I bought the fact that Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield fell for each other because they did in real life. I mean, it wasn't just acting. It was the fact that they were absolutely fantastic people and the chemistry sort of carried over. This is the 3D double pack version with the digital copy and whatever else it comes with. It was shot natively in 3D. I think it was the 6K on the red camera. So it has that red look to it. And I don't like the colours on the red camera. I think it just looks washed out and kind of bluey reddy. It's weird. I know they're showing on film for the sequel and I can't wait to watch the sequel. I know a lot of people give Sherry-Ann Woodley, is that her name? Who plays Mary Jane, a lot of crap because she's not pretty enough. I mean, yeah, right, like any of you fucking internet people have ever had a girl that's that good looking. Fucking get a life, you fucking losers. I really liked it. I think it was well made. I think the action was really well staged because it was a lot of real people instead of CGI. It had a good pacing to it. I mean, the Lizard is not a fantastic character, fair enough. But what do you want to do? Do you want a remake of the first one? Do you want Green Goblin again? People say, oh, it's very similar to the first one. It's the same story. What's the origin story? The origin story doesn't bloody change. What do you want? That he's bitten by a radioactive toaster and that makes him Spider-Man? I mean, but what else can you do? I mean, he is Spider-Man. That's his origin story. That's what happens. I think that Sally Fielder's Aunt May was fantastic. A lot of people didn't. No, she doesn't look like Aunt May. Well, it's an origin story. She's going to get older. Hopefully in Amazing Spider-Man 2 or whatever they call it, Spectacular Spider-Man, she'll be a bit older and look a bit more Aunt May. Martin Sheen was absolutely amazing. I like Clint Robertson. I think he's a great actor, but Martin fucking Sheen, he was so much better as Uncle Ben. And yeah, alright, there were a lot of things like they didn't want to say with great power comes great responsibility because they didn't want to appear to be like the first film and didn't want to appear like a remake. I can understand that, but at the same time, really? Does it matter? People are looking for problems with that film. I think it's a good film. I think it deserves a second chance from a lot of people. And hopefully the sequel will do gangbusters. Jamie Foxx's Electra is a fucking weird idea, though. Next, we have an amazing film I've talked at length about before on an update. We have Headhunters. Great film. Also, Jackpot nearly made my top 20. It was sort of around 25 or something like that. Another Joe Nesbo adaptation. Amazing film. It's hard to explain. It's like Cabin in the Woods. The more you know about it, the less you enjoy it, I think. If you go in completely blind like I did, you'll really, really love it. Kind of a noir film. Really, really intense as well. I mean, the stuff that people go through in this film, you're just thinking, fuck me. It was very like the early Sam Raimi films where you think, God, how much can you punish Bruce Campbell? Do you really want him dead? It's like Spider-Man 2 where Raimi just seems to keep punishing Tobey Maguire. It's like that. The main character just gets so punished. He starts off with this beautiful coiffed hair and this really nice suit and like a beautiful looking man, and then by the end of it he turns into this complete and utter fucking mess, and you think, bloody hell, your life has just changed overnight. You're an absolute mess now. And it's so intense from what he goes through. It's really, really clever, really worth watching. If you don't like subtitled films, watch it. Just get over it. It's well worth watching just for the fact that it's really well written. It's fantastic. Don't watch the dub either. Just watch the original Swedish subtitled version. It's fantastic. I can't emphasise it enough. It's really, really great and really worth watching. Next we have the better film just in the year of Joss Whedon. We have The Avengers. I'm not going to call it Avengers Assemble because that's stupid. This is the Steelbook. It has been shown on my channel before. Fantastic film, really well made, nerdgasm. It did everything I wanted it to do with every single person. Joss Whedon understands the nerd, so he is a nerd. He loves the comic books, he loves TV, he loves pop culture. He knows what he's talking about, and he's able to write it so it sounds like a normal person talking about it. A hyper-intelligent, really quick-witted person, fair enough, but it still works in the context of it's a film, it's entertainment. Can't wait for Avengers 2. I think it's going to be fantastic if he's left alone. From my understanding, he was left alone on this, and that was the best move. Oh, excuse me. That Marvel could ever make. I think that hiring a great director, even an untested great director, and giving him notes and telling him, "Oh, you got to do this, so you got to change that, you got to do," it never ends up well. I think that getting a great director and leaving him alone, to a certain extent, I mean, they can go off the rails, they'll get Heaven's Gate. But I think that if you leave them alone to a certain extent and trust them, they can deliver things like that. And, you know, that's the same thing. You look at Spider-Man 2, where Raimi was left pretty much alone, compared to Spider-Man 3, where Raimi was jumped all over. Yeah, it's a crap film because he kept being noted to death and he kept having to do what the studio told him to do, and that's a mistake. I think you should leave them alone and just leave them to it. It's easily the best superhero film of the year by far. It's not the best comic book film though. Best superhero film by far, but not the best comic book adaptation of the year. That would go to this next film, which is actually still sealed, so I'll quickly try and open it off camera while I'm talking to you. This is the film where I said about, obviously you have a small budget and then you go gangbusters with marketing and then you come back and you open up and you make a lot of money. It's a good idea. It does work. You look at District 9. District 9 was made for District 13, sorry. No, District 9, I'm right. District 13 was that 3-running one, wasn't it? Yeah. District 9, Neil Blomkamp film, where it was made for like $30 million and then made huge amounts of money. That's how you can do Asylum now. You come in cheap and you go out and you make a ton of money. That's what you do. This tried that and it didn't work. Dread. Fucking amazing. Why you people didn't go and see it in the cinema? I saw it in the cinema. I should have seen it about 2 or 3 times. It was absolutely fucking amazing. Easily the best comic book film of the year. Not the best action film of the year, but the best comic book film of the year. It was very close. Very close. This is a 3D version. It should be watched in 3D. Best use of 3D I've ever seen. It's hyper-violent. It's well written. I mean, it's obviously a basic plot. I mean, people say, oh, copy the plot from The Raid, and well, it's the plot from fucking Die Hard too. So, did it copy the plot from Die Hard? Did Raid copy the plot from Die Hard? You're in a building, you've got people there that want to kill you, you've got to kill them first. It's not an original fucking plot. Oh. Even Gareth Evans, who made The Raid, said great minds think alike. So, they were in the production around the same time. Does it matter anyway? It's a great film. It's a well-made, badass 80s fucking action film. People say about Expendables an 80s action film, Bullethead's an 80s action film. They're like Commando. Commando's a piece of fucking shit. Sorry, but it fucking is. It's really badly written, really badly acted. That Porsche gets repaired a million times. Obviously, they weren't paying down the continuity. They didn't give a shit. They say, oh, it's a great action film. It fucking isn't. It's appalling. There were bad 80s action films as well as the good 80s action films. Expendables 1 is a bad 80s action film. Like, I don't know, fucking some bad 80s action film. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But then there were good 80s action films as well. Die Hard. That's like Die Hard. That's a good 80s style action film. That's the difference. You can have, just because it's styled like an 80s film doesn't mean it's automatically good. Just because something's retro in appearance doesn't mean it's good. That's just hipster fucking nonsense. Oh, it's cool because it's 80s, man. It's like, oh, it's such a throwback. It's like, fucking shit. If it's shit, it's shit. It doesn't matter. Dredd was not shit. Dredd was absolutely amazing. It was well made. It was well acted. Karl Urban was fan-fucking-tastic as Dredd. Never takes the helmet off. Utters about 3 words every 10 seconds. Maybe even grunts every 4 seconds. You know, he barely talks, and it's the way Dredd should be. He shouldn't talk. He should be a bit of a dick. He doesn't give a shit apart from anything about the law. That's it. Absolutely amazing. Well worth watching. I don't see why anyone would watch it and not like it. I think it's just the best comic book film made this year. Best comic book film ever made? No, that's still a Rocketeer. But it's pretty fucking close. It's amazing. Well worth watching. Talking of stealing plots, we have Gareth Evans' The Raid. Ray! This is the lenticular normal slipcase. Didn't go for the steelbook because I got it from work. Pretty cheap. Amazing film. And apparently I look like Gareth Evans, so my friend said. I actually got to ask him a question. Hooray! Over Twitter, I think it was, or Facebook. Facebook it was. Yeah, it's an amazing film. One of the best action films ever made. Possibly the best action film ever made. I used to think it was always Die Hard. Then came things like I got into The Killer, Hard Boiled. I always still prefer The Killer over Hard Boiled for some reason. No one else does apart from me. And then Face Off for a little while. Then I forgot Face Off because it hasn't aged that well. Went back to Die Hard, but The Raid is fantastic. I've never seen martial arts like it. Over the martial arts, the fact that it seems to be pretty much full contact and how brutal it is. I saw it with someone in the cinema, and we were both going, ooh, fuck. Ah, shit. Ooh, fuck. Every single 10 seconds. Because it was that brutal. It made you think, Jesus Christ, what are they going to do next? It makes you not look at the screen. I mean, people say about horror films are the ones that, you know, are going to make you, oh, God, I can't watch. But there's not been a horror film like that for me. That was more of like that for me, where it's just like, Jesus Christ, what are they going to do? Oh, God, oh, my God. Amazing film. Again, if you don't like subtitles, what the fuck are you doing on my channel? But if you don't like subtitles, it doesn't matter. There's a dub version on there. They don't really speak all that much. There's not much of a plot. It's just action. It's filmed cheap on cheap cameras. It's never going to look good on Blu-ray. I've seen people criticising the way it looks. Well, it's a cheap Indonesian film made by a Welsh dude. What the fuck do you expect? He's not going to roll the fucking red carpet out and shoot it in 9K or something. I mean, it's a cheap little action film. There's a calling card. His other film, Antono Warrior, is more of a calling card, I think, for The Raid. But no one really saw that, which is a shame. It's on American Netflix, so if you've got American Netflix, do watch it. It's fantastic. A badass little action film that's well worth watching. Next at number... I haven't been calling out the numbers for ages, have I? You can keep count. Everyone can count. At number 7, we have Prometheus. Yeah, I'm fairly maligned. I talked in length on my update of this one. I'm not going to go into it too much here because I've already talked about it. This is the 3-disc edition with the 3D. Second best use of 3D I've ever seen, following Dredd. Absolutely amazing film. It's flawed in a lot of ways. Flawed masterpiece, I said when I came out of the cinema seeing it. And I'd probably stand by that. It's got issues, but who hasn't? I'm not going to go into too much because it gets a lot of hate from people. I don't want to cause a shitstorm down the comments. So, you know, it has problems. It's not amazing. It's not... It's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If you've got a 3D TV, you have to buy it. It's well worth the extra money, I tell you. Next, we have another film that's not out. Oh, it is out over here, actually. Tell a lie. I haven't bought it yet for some bizarre reason. I don't know why, actually. I bought Silver Linings Playbook on Monday, and I really should have bought this at the same time, but never mind. We have End of Watch, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by David... Is it David Ayer? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, the guy who wrote Training Day and Street Kings. Great writer. He knows his stuff. He wrote Dark Blue as well, I think, which is an amazing Kurt Russell film that no one saw. He knows police procedure. He knows how to write decent dialogue. He knows about grit. It's got an ending that I never could have guessed. Apparently the ending was changed. I think that's probably why I didn't guess it. It's fantastic. Jake Gyllenhaal, hit or miss for me. I think he was good in Prince of Persia. Obviously Donnie Darko, but he can sometimes cruise on just being pretty and not really put any effort in. And I think if he puts the effort in, he's absolutely fantastic. In this, he puts the effort in. Michael Pena, who's always shouty in everything I've ever seen him in, is fantastic in this. He's not always shouty. He's heartwarming. He's a decent guy. He's a real guy. You feel like a real person. He's on the screen there. Anna Kendrick, this just launched my obsession. 2012 is definitely the year of Anna Kendrick, as well as the other people I've mentioned. I think she is... I just love Anna Kendrick now. She might have knocked Amy Adams off the top of the roost, actually. She is just lovely. And you watch this, and the karaoke bit in the car, and the wedding bit... if you don't fall in love with Anna Kendrick, and you're a straight male, I don't know what's wrong with you, because she is absolutely fucking lovely. And she's believable as well. There's a little bit where she talks to the camera, where she's going through his wallet. I think his wallet in his phone, or something like that. And it's so believable, you just think... Yeah, that's it's just a real performance, a real person. And like Amazing Spider-Man, you can feel, they're really falling in love with each other because they did it in real life. So she went from dating a guy who lived in Wales with Edgar Wright, who was born in Wales, who's just down the road from me. You think, God, I might have a chance if I lost £100 million and got some hair plugs and started working out. Well, not that Edgar Wright is exactly Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought I could have had a chance, but Jake Gyllenhaal's prettier than most fucking women, so, she's gone forever, I think. But yeah, great film, well worth watching. If you like police movies, I didn't like Training Day, but if you like Training Day, watch it because it's a proper police movie. Next we have an amazing film. Rian Johnson, for me, is 3 for 3. I like Brothers Bloom, get over it, it's fucking awesome. We have Looper. Not a real surprise for me. It's a surprise for a lot of people because Bruce Willis has been in a lot of shit recently. I think he does the shit to pay the bills, and so he can do films like this. This is the Steelbook version. I think it was originally HMV exclusive, then HMV went belly up. And it became... I think I got it from Zavi or from... Zavi or Amazon both had it. I can't remember which one I bought it from, but one of the two. Amazing film, really well made. If you like 12 Monkeys, watch this. It's a great little time travel movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like Bruce Willis. If you cover his top of his head and the bottom of his head at different times, you can see Bruce Willis. And there's little inflections. There's not words. I mean, he doesn't go around saying yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. But there's little words and little and little inflections that he puts on the end of things that are Bruce Willis. And it's weird, like, watching Bruce Willis. They didn't go the CGI route, which is probably a good idea. They did practical makeup. There was already some CGI in the film because of obviously it's set in the future. But I don't know, it's really clever, it's really heartwarming. Then a lot of people said they didn't like the second half when Emily Blunt turned up. I like Emily Blunt. I think she did a good job. Because you've got to believe in people, and it makes you question whose side you're on and how you feel about things, because it's two separate people. So obviously there's two separate people playing the same person. It's weird, but it's clever. Don't want to go too much in, don't want to spoil it. Watch Looper, it's absolutely amazing, well worth watching. Next we have one that was number 1, and then I saw 3 movies, and then it got jostled down. We have Skyfall. This was HMV exclusive, then Amazon exclusive Steelbook. It's unopened because I've got the normal version that I put in my James Bond box set that's been on a previous update. Fantastic, absolutely amazing. Roger Deakins should have won an Oscar for the cinematography. He didn't because the Academy don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking film. Sam Mendes is a great director, and I'm really, really, really fucking annoyed that he won't be doing the sequel. It's a pain in the arse because it's a beautiful film and it's well worth seeing if you haven't seen it. It's the biggest film at the UK box office ever for a reason. Obviously, there's some fan service because it was the anniversary and everything else. But I'm a huge Bond fan, a huge Bond apologist. But even then, I can't stand some Bond films. Look at Die Another Day; it's fucking atrocious. Skyfall is fantastic. Don't like the theme song. Not a fan of Adele. Just get out there. But it's a great film. It's well made. It's beautiful looking. It's well written. Fantastic. And I hope the sequel does live up to it. Next we have, talking of well written and beautiful, Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom. I've shown this on a previous update. I think this is the HMV version with the exclusive art cards. Fantastic. One of Wes Anderson's best films. Not his best. I still think Darjeeling Limited is his best, even though no one else agrees with me again. It's beautiful. It's well made. It shows love at its most innocent and its most pure, I think. The cast is fantastic. I mean, Edward Norton, who thought I'd like Edward Norton again? He made a lot of shit for a long time and got a big ego. And all of a sudden he turns in this and he just washes it all away. Bill Murray, of course, a Wes Anderson mainstay, is fantastic in this film. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful and funny and heartwarming. There's one scene with a tent that just made me lose my shit. I was laughing for about 10 minutes. I had to pause the movie, it was that bad. Just little things, little character moments that make the film so much better. Second to last, number 2, my second favourite film of the year. Was my favourite film of the year, and this might be a surprise to a lot of people, especially people that haven't seen it, who fairly malign it. Now, Mark Kermode, I never normally agree with his stuff, which is fine, because people have different opinions. But recently we've started agreeing on stuff, maybe because I'm getting older. And this film he actually liked, and I was shocked to shit that he liked this film. Pitch Perfect. Oh my god, this is fantastic. I was absolutely shocked. I watched the trailer and laughed my fucking arse off and thought, you know what, I have to see this movie. This is the US Blu-ray. I had it 2 days before it came out in UK cinemas. It's just brilliant. It's the funniest comedy I've seen all year, by far. It's funny. I mean, people saying, oh, it's just like Glee the movie. I like Glee. I'll put my hands down and say I like Glee. Glee is really, really good. But it hasn't got the edge this has. Even if you don't like Glee, I've shown this to so many people and they absolutely came away loving it. I've not seen a single person hate it. I think Empire gave it 4 or 5 out of 5. I think that's what made me actually want to really see it. It was like, fucking hell, it's actually good. This film about choirs is good. It's funny, it's clever, it's the best, probably the best written comedy of the year. I've got to qualify this because it's number 2. Rainn Wilson is fantastic. She steals the show pretty much. Brittany Snow I've never seen before. It's really, really adorable in this. She's really, really good. But Anna Kendrick, my god, how you cannot watch this film and not instantly fall head over heels in love with Anna Kendrick. When she sings the Cup song to audition, it's, my god, she can sing as well. I mean, she's a Tony-nominated actress. I think she's won a Tony, actually. So she knows what she's doing. She's actually won awards for Broadway musicals. So you would think she knows what she's doing, but to see her in previous films like Up in the Air and Scott Pilgrim and Hung in Twilight, you'd think, oh, she can't sing, she's going to be dubbed. But my god, can that girl sing? It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, this is one film out of all these films here that probably most people would just write off and say, I'm not going to see it. Please see it. If you have to download it, if you have to steal it, I don't give a shit. Just please watch it. Give it a chance. Watch it all the way through. It's absolutely worth it, I promise you. Because the number 1 I'm going to show you now, everyone's probably seen and everyone owns. So that's probably not worth a recommendation. But the number 2, no one's really seen, no one owns. Watch it. It's really worth it. Number 1, obviously, is Ben Affleck's Argo, 3 for 3. He is, even though George Clooney said he's made 2 films, yet he was the producer on both of them. Know your fucking business, George. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's obviously, I remember the real life story of the Iranian hostages and all that. The Argo story was only recently declassified. I think I read about it somewhere before I saw the film. But it's amazing the people who saw it in the cinema with me were like, oh god, what's going to happen? It's like, do you not pay any attention to history? Amazingly well written, perfectly acted. There's a lot of cats from Red State in this. You'll find out why if you watch Kevin Smith Burn in Hell. John Goodman is fantastic in this. John Goodman's always really good. He's really good in Flight as well. Flight I saw in 2012, but it didn't come out over here till 2013, so it's on 2013's list. Just FYI. In case everyone thinks, oh, you didn't include Flight. Well, I like Flight because Robert Zemeckis came back to directing real people, not fucking puppets. Well, CGI puppets. This is the extended cut. I've not seen the extended cut, but the extended cut of the town was not very good compared to the original cut of the town. It was really, really, really superfluous. There's an extra 9 minutes. I don't think Ben Affleck was involved in it because obviously it was perfectly edited as it was. It's got a ton of extras, including one actual real president on the extras. And there's a commentary as well with Ben Affleck and the writer, which I really, really need to listen to when I actually watch it. But yeah, it's fantastic. Film of the year by far. Best acting, best directing, best script, I think, best everything. It was just absolutely perfect. I came away from it absolutely shocked that I loved it that much. I mean, obviously, I love the town. People, fans of my channel, know that. Gone Baby Gone as well. Absolutely amazing film. What a great barnstormer he's having. He's just blitzed the first 3 films. Hopefully he chooses well. I mean, obviously he was up for Superman. And he got for Justice League. I don't know if you should do it, Ben. I think it'd be perfect, but I just think you should. I think you should be careful. I'm giving advice like he watches my fucking channel there. Careful and just selective and just make the films you want to make the way you want to make them. So yeah, that's my top 20. There are 4 missing, 4 I don't own for various reasons as I went into. But yeah, do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think that it should be a different order? Should Argo be number 1? Should I be that mad about Pitch Perfect? If you've seen Pitch Perfect, I don't want any comments of people saying it's shit if they haven't seen it. But yeah, comment below, post a reply if you want to post a reply, and let me know what you think about them all. Yeah, so I am back. I'm going to do a few updates. Hopefully not any of the stuff that's in this video, because I've already talked about them a little bit. Because I bought a lot, and I don't really want to do updates until the day I die, because there's quite a lot to go through, because I was off for so long. But yeah, so I am back, and I will be posting a new video, hopefully next week, if not the week after, with an update. I bought a lot of old, obsolete formats as well the last couple of weeks. I might do an old, obsolete format update next time. It'd be kind of short because there's only a couple of them, but it'd be something different. I'm waiting for something to come in the post from eBay, which should come in the next couple of days. So hopefully it should come in time for do an update. So yeah, until that time, Dvdmike saying, I'll see you next time.